What's up? Cecil Smith here, bandana running. I'm opening shoe today, the Asics Magic Speed, and wanted this shoe for a couple different reasons, but let's go ahead and open it, and then I'll get into why I wanted the shoe and what my first impressions of the shoe are. So here we go. I did not have any help this time, and there's no studio audience. So it's been a while since I did one of these, but the reason I wanted this, the reason I got this shoe, let's go back to that, is because Asics actually put it on sale. And let's take a look here. Oh, there it is. Magic Speed 1. Now, there's only one out right now, so they haven't come up with a release date yet for another version. It's kind of thin back here, and I heard that the tongue was thin as well. It is very thin. Wow, check that. That's almost like nothing. This is going to be an interesting shoe for me to run in because I don't normally run in shoes like this. This is what I would call a low end racer type shoe. It's got a carbon plate in it. So I've never had a shoe with a carbon plate in, mostly because the carbon plate shoes are so expensive. They're like $180 just to get you in one, and the high-end racers are about $250. So I could never justify it because I'm not that good of a runner. I'm not that competitive of a runner. So it was never really worth it, for me to do something like that. But the Magic Speed came out after the Nova Blast 2s last year, 2021. And I was like, man, I'd really like to try that shoe because it came out as 150. And I was like, well, that's so close. You're almost there to where I could, justify getting it. But I just couldn't quite pull the trigger on it. And it's been a year and they haven't released a Nova Blast 3. So I was kind of borderline. Do I go back to the 2s or do I try for the Magic Speed, even though the reviews on the Magic Speed, they weren't as glowing. And I think that's because of the price point, because they were a more expensive shoe than the Nova Blast 2. Nova Blast 2 is about 130. This was 150. I actually got it for 109. They marked it down recently, so I'm thinking maybe they're going to come out with version 2. But it falls in that weird category. At least what my view of what's going on with the shoes right now is a lot of these companies are working on their high-end racers first, then their meat and potato shoes. So for Asics, they got the Metaspeed Sky, those top-end shoes, and then they've got the Cayenos, Cumulus, GT 2000s, that series where they're working at where, you have your repeat buyers that are used to those shoes. So they're going to come back to those and get those for their training. And then you have ones like this and the Nova Blast 2s or the Nova Blast series that are new, that don't have a lot of iterations, probably don't have a lot of buy-in. So there may not be a huge market for them. So they're kind of like last on the pecking order. They're going to keep those other versions up to date, keep pushing out new ones of those. And then these are kind of last because they're in that mid-range. So there's no real reason to kind of get those out first. So I'm hopeful that they'll come out with another version of that. We'll see how these go. If you want to get a look at the bottom, these are, I believe, a little bit different rubber. It's not quite as thick as what was on the Nova Blast 2, but it's a completely different pattern than the Nova Blast 2. I've got those here. If you want to take a look at it. This is what they did on those. It's just around the outside, and they kind of had like a little trampoline effect for the energy return in the Nova Blast 2s. This one has the carbon plate in it with a lot of foam. I believe it's a 34 in the back and 29 millimeter stack height in the front. So it's only a 5 millimeter drop. And usually those low drop shoes kind of stretch out your Achilles to start with because you're not getting the lift up in the back. We'll see how that goes. I know when I first went to the Rincon that had a 5 millimeter drop, it really stretched out my foot. But I've been running in the 2s. I think they were an 8 millimeter drop, so it's not a huge drop off on that. But I'll let you know how that goes when I get a first impression. The other thing that I've heard about these shoes is it takes a little bit to break them in, which is kind of unique for 2022. Most running shoes now, you get them out of the box, you can go run 20 miles in them if you wanted to. No issue. But from what I've heard, there's a little bit of a break-in, and it looks like it's got kind of a dual material in the toe. So that mesh underneath might be kind of plasticky or a little more rigid, a little less forgiving. That may be what the break-in is all about. So we'll give these a shot, see how they look, see how they feel. Like I said, it's never been worth it for me because I'm not that good of a runner to get a carbon plated shoe, but this one has 3/4 of a carbon plate, I believe, so probably like right into this area. And that's where you're getting your energy return from, because that whole plate's pushing down on the foam, and then it'll push back into your foot on top, instead of just having a few pressure points of the foot pushing into a foam and then trying to get the energy return back from the foam. Plus those spots will wear out. This one should last, hopefully. So see how it goes. If nothing else, run in it this summer, hopefully for the races that I want to run, and hopefully don't have any issues. This back could get me a little bit. I see that because I have some problems in my Achilles, but it's still pretty stiff. Oh, I just, yeah, it's very rigid with that plate in there. So this will be exciting. Interested to see how this goes. All right, I'll stay tuned, and I'll get you an update, hopefully faster than I did on the Nova Blast 2s. All right, see you later.